Hello, YouTube. I am back with another awesome podcast. Today will be the episode 3 of the Select Few podcast, and I have two awesome guests here today to feature on the channel. Two very good friends of mine who I've already met one of them in person, and the next one I'll be able to meet them this weekend. I got JDZQuest and my boy Alvin. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourselves, man? Go ahead and start us off, Mr. Top 16.
Us.
Yeah, that's you.
What's up, guys? My name is Alvin, aka Mr. LoreGainz. I am a YouTuber, and I'm here representing the community. So, love to be on this podcast. Thank you so much for inviting me, man. And we're here with JDZ too. Take it, JDZ.
Hey, air horns. It's good to be here, Rip, as always. You know, I'm JDZ, JDZQuest. Also, JDZ Plays Goats. You guys might recognize me from that. But it's so good to be here. Lorcana content creator and Lorcana enthusiast, man. I'm excited. Thanks for letting me be a part of the select few. It feels like a great opportunity.
Yes, sir. And also Mr. Lorcana Caster, JDZQuest was casting in the LCCC a couple weeks ago and it was NA versus EU, and you did an awesome job there casting in the finals.
Thank you so much. You did too. You had a couple
You
matches
both
in there
did,
too.
guys. You both did.
Appreciate
yeah,
you, man.
That's awesome.
You did too.
That's how I came across you guys, actually.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead and tell them, Alvin.
Shout out dang it, Intercontinental Challenge.
Yes.
ICC.
LCCCCCC.
Oh,
Just keep saying C's until you pass out.
LCCCCCC.
Yeah, there.
Yeah,
that was a dope event, man. I had a great time being a part of that. And again, I can't say enough. Huge shout out to Pavel and the rest of the community for putting that thing together, and all the judges and all the staff that ran it. But man, that was really cool. It brought a lot of energy to the format when we kind of had a little slow time. I thought it was really dope, and they allowed me to be a part of that, do some broadcasting. I really want to get into the broadcasting more. So if anybody knows somebody out there in the Mickeyverse, man, hook your boy up. I'll get onto a DLC and get on the wheels.
Yeah, you get there. You get to the DLC. Yeah, man, definitely. Like, I don't know how the process is. Like, I don't know if they reach out to you or you apply. But like the casters on there, I feel like you guys are either at the same or at above level. Like you guys would absolutely crush it. You guys will absolutely crush it. And I would love to see you guys up there. Like,
yeah, no,
you guys did amazing in the challenge. So yeah, you know,
I appreciate that. It was really an awesome opportunity to link up with JDZ through there, and we got to cast the game. But while we were casting games, let's not downplay you over here practicing in the mountains, because you got your top 16 invite at the DLC in Las Vegas, which actually where I got to see you in person. Didn't get to say hi to you, but you were there in the top 16. So congrats to you.
You guys were both there, yeah.
Yeah,
I was there as well.
We were there in like scrubs, watching on the side. Watching on the side.
Bro, I was a scrub going in there. I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Everyone's it's like cameras and games going on, pressure. But yeah, man, that's awesome. And I like to call it the hyperbolic time chamber.
Yep.
We're like out here grinding it out.
Grinding it up.
Where are you at? You're out there grinding in the mountains for real? Where you at, man? You out there getting your Rocky on out there? How do you do it in Rocky 4 when he's lifting all the logs and stuff?
Basically mountains, man. Basically in the mountains. Look at this.
Oh, he's not kidding. You're not kidding. That's beautiful though.
I wish I had mountains over where I live.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's actually that's gorgeous.
Yeah, man. It's like your hometown, Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get my mess out of the way.
Yeah,
man. Just grinding. It's. I think the reps are super important for this type of challenge. Like theory is cool. Like like understanding games. But if you don't sit down in front of a person and play the actual game, I don't think you get that same vibe that you would of just like recreating things in your head and just like thinking in ways to like sauce out your deck or how to approach the meta. You have to get down, get dirty, get the reps in, and get to know your deck. I feel like getting to know your deck is number one priority. And also figuring out your lines. Because if you have all these cool techs and you're teching against like certain matchups, but you misplay, then you're just cooked.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I think.
Are you ready though? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, how do you feel though? Are you confident? It's next week, or it's like this weekend, man. You got a couple of days left. Are you motivated? Are you ready? Is your deck?
Days, man.
3 days.
I'm motivated, but I'm not ready. I'm not locked in yet. And it's been like this every time. It's been like this every single time. Like, I'm not fully locked in. It's really hard to commit. Like, it's really hard to commit. But I do have the reps and I do have the like the experience, the hands-on training with my deck. So like that part, I do feel comfortable, but locking in my deck, I'm not quite there yet.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean that makes a lot of sense. Like, what the cool thing about all three of us, right, is we are content creators, but we're also competitive players, and we've all been to these DLCs, and like you said, right, it's about reps, it's about knowing your deck, knowing the meta. Really, it's like homework, right? Like being able to study, because the people who do
Mm-hmm.
take the time and sacrifice, I guess, spending time, chilling or with
With
family,
girlfriends.
with girlfriends. They spend the time in the
Yeah.
lab, and I think at the end of the day, that's what it
Yeah.
is. This is peak Lorcana, what this weekend's coming into for the NA Continental, Continentals, pretty much. And I think here we're gonna see just who was willing to either break the meta or study the meta,
Mm-hmm.
like between those two, right? So with your guys'
Yeah.
experience with prepping, this weekend I'm going to the LCQ myself, so I'll be there as well. What are your guys' thoughts
Heck
on
yeah.
the current meta, and what do you expect is going to win?
Go ahead,
You
JD.
want to take it? You want me to take it, or you got it? You got it. I'll let you take it, man. Since you've already done all the analysis, and I'll try to fill in where you leave off.
There you
All
go.
right,
I'll give
I'll
you the
get.
layup. Go ahead.
Okay, I will give you my guys' opinion. I think it's gonna come down to how the European went down. Except there's one exception. This crazy deck, Green Steel. I think
Okay,
Green
Mm.
Steel's still very good.
makes
I think
sense.
it's very, very good, very, very strong. We didn't see it in Europe because they don't play it. For some reason, they don't like playing Green Steel. So not a lot of people are grinding it out, figuring out the meta and how this deck goes into the meta and how to counter it. So I think we're gonna see a resurgence in Green Steel. Ruby Amethyst is absolutely gonna cook. Red Blue, it's one of the craziest decks in the meta. Like hands down, Red Blue is insane. I hate fighting against Red Blue. And Amber Steel Songs. The Steel
Mm.
Songs and the more aggro version, because you want to beat the Red Blue, and the aggro version does that. It counters it. So that's what I think is gonna happen. We're gonna see Green Steel just come out of nowhere.
I think I agree with everything you said 100%. I think Green Steel is a sleeper. I think people started when this set first started. A lot of people put Green Steel away because things were so aggressive and there was so much removal, and people just didn't
Mm,
play it because Diablo wasn't as strong as he was. But
Mm-hmm.
now that's all kind of regressed a little bit. And I did mention that on a previous stream that I just did. But I got to tell you right now, I think this meta is probably one of the more healthier metas I can remember from any trading card game that I've played.
mm-hmm.
Is that because no one is super confident with their deck and the strategy that they're taking to this open field of a tournament, because
Yeah.
you can essentially play anything you want if it's tuned and tested. You can probably have success with whatever deck if you play it right, to have the diagnosis, to play against your good match as well, and then have some game against your worst matchups. I think you can have a good run with it. But still, I think it's all going to go through the color of purple. I think
Mm-hmm.
purple is going to be the way of
Oh,
the
for
day for
sure.
the LCQ and into the day two. I think that whoever has the best purple deck is going to have a good chance to have a topping performance in both of those events, because I think those cards are just too strong. I think there's not a lot of good answers to the Genie. There's not a lot of good answers to the Fox. There's not a lot of good answers to the Diablos and all the drawing and all the recursion. I mean, if you want to put it with red, if you want to put it with steel, if you want to put it with blue, even if you want to put it with green, hell, I don't know. Well, I'll take that back. I think the green is going down a little bit, but I think
Mm-hmm.
it's going to go through
Mm.
purple. And I think if you're going to have a plan, it needs to be able to handle what those purple cards are doing in this format right now, at least in my opinion. I
Yeah.
don't know. What do you think, Rip? Let's hear about you. What is your meta prediction, meta call for this tournament? You're
I,
going to be playing at LCQ, so you got to be
yes.
ready.
Yeah, so I think you both pretty much nailed it down to kind of what Alvin said. It's pretty much a paper rock scissors format, in typical TCGs. But the three that he pointed out was just amber steel, red purple, and red blue. Always been the top three dogs. I mean, green steel was dominating the past few sets, but now that's pretty much the main three. And then JDZ, just like how you said, right? There's LCQ, and then there's the NA, right? So that's something interesting to think about: is can the LCQs affect the meta like last minute, the night before, like everyone sees, oh, all these people played this, and that can get influenced. So I think that's going to be interesting to see. But I definitely
Mm.
do think that if I had to say what is the most seen deck, for me particular, the LCQs, it's probably going to be red purple, just because
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
in a best of three format, you want to go consistent, especially for five rounds. You need to go pretty much, you need to win 10 games, right? So what's the most consistent way to
Mm.
get there? and what has the most consistent game plan. And red purple has always just been simple, right? You go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then so on from so forth. The counter to
Yeah.
that could just be very skilled amber steel players who are gonna punish red purple players that are on that. Just because a lot of people might just fall back into playing Genie just because it's such an easy card just to play and gain lore. So Amber Steel could definitely
Mhm.
punish that. And then of course, you're gonna have the red blue players just to try to just be prep everyone. But I do think red purple and amber steel are the ones to look out for. That's what I've been particularly testing
Mhm.
into, just because the deck that
Yeah.
I use just has a 50-50 matchup into red blue. But I think the LCQ meta would affect the date, like the day one of the Continentals, and that's gonna be really interesting
Mhm.
to see. Now, as far as what will win the whole tournament, I don't want to say red purple. Honestly, I think amber steel or red blue might take it. Just because in a best of two format, I think those decks can just win more than where purple can. I don't know what you guys' are thoughts on the best of two.
How about this? How about this? How about this? Let's make it a little bit easier on
Mhm.
ourselves. Give me your top four. You get four decks. What is going to be your prediction to be in the top four of the NA tournament? Last four decks remaining. What do you think they're going to be?
Last four decks are gonna
The
be
last four decks,
uh,
not the non-meta ones.
No, the
like in the
last
top
no the
four,
no the,
like
no the top no
semifinals.
the
Oh, I
like
see.
in the semifinals. The two people that fight the winner, second place, third place, fourth place. What do you think those decks are going to be?
I think it's gonna be multiple of the same color, bro.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be like two. I think it's gonna be two red purples and like an amber steel and a red blue. But okay, let's say the fourth deck could be see amber steel, red blue, ruby amethyst, and I'm being biased, but I'm gonna say blurple. I'm gonna say
Blurple. Oh,
blurple. I'm
that's
gonna
up.
say
Blurple.
blurple. Bro, blurple is so underrated and it cooks purple decks because
Mhm.
basically it's doing the same thing purple decks are doing,
Mm-hmm.
but faster. Genie on turn 3, Elsa on turn 4, Big Elsa on turn 5, you know?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's a pretty solid deck.
Yeah, I think
What about you,
also
Rick? What's your four?
I think green purple is a contender. Like we don't really have
Mm,
big green purple players here
Mm.
in NA, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there's like a
yeah, we don't have an artifacts, that's why.
No.
yeah. And I think it's one of those decks though that in the past DLCs, like if I'm not mistaken, in Chicago, like
Mhm.
it was in the finals. So it's a deck that can definitely sneak in. Just because again it has access to Genie, but then you have access to like Ursula and cards that can combat well against Steel. But I
Mhm.
think if the planets align right, I think we all know the true winner, and that's gonna be Sapphire Steel.
Oh,
Uh,
let's go.
nah, I wish so. I think the best of
Hey,
two format will be
I
hard,
would
It can
but
happen.
love to see that,
Rip,
honestly.
Rip, you're mentioning it can happen, man.
it will
I know
happen.
you and I we've taken the pill, man. We're firm
Yeah.
believers in the blue steel strategy, but I really believe that deck, if if you get a good bracket and things
Mm-hmm.
line up right, you're never going to be,
Mhm.
bad against too many. You're going to have
Yes.
decent matchups all throughout. You just got to get a good bracket, some bracket luck, and if you make
Yeah.
it, it can beat anyone. You
Yep,
can
I agree.
you can 1-1 with anyone, so it can
Yeah, how do
happen.
you guys feel? How do you guys feel about Blue Steel in best of 3 LCQ versus best of 2 in nationals into day 2 or
Personally, I
Saturday
got to
again?
jump. I think that Blue Steel is one of the best three-game decks that exists
Mm,
in Lorcana. In my own personal opinion, when you get the mulligan
yeah.
in there and you understand your matchup going into that game three, play or draw, you can have a game. You
Mm-hmm.
can have a game against anyone as long as your deck just doesn't brick uncontrollably. You can have a game versus anyone in the best of three. Best of two, going in blind, you got some bad matchups. You're going to get a lot of splits in there. What do you think, Rip? That's at least my opinion. Best of two, maybe not so much. Best of three for sure. I can make it happen.
Yeah, I think best of three, it all comes down to that third game where you have the information you've gathered from two games. And a lot of people might think
Mm,
that, hey, well, in the best of two, you got to go first, he got to go first, so it's more fair. But I think with Sapphire Steel going on the draw game three, it's really because we get an extra card and then we ramp in our deck. And in the best of three, when you can be at the same ink as your opponent and then potentially have more ink on them when even though they went first, it's just too strong of a play. And I think Sapphire Steel has
yeah.
the best. It's the best deck right now that just brings out big bodies next to red blue. But the only thing that red blue lacks is has a hard time into aggro decks. And since we're steel, we can counter that. So we kind of have a balance of both. And then best of two. It is a little bit more harder if your opponent does go first and you're doing a blind mulligan just because you don't know what to open up with. Do you want to open up your fire the cannons just in case it's
Yeah.
aggro, but then it's red blue and you get punished with dead cards. So I think best of three is definitely the way to go. But
Yeah.
I know you, Alvin, you just have like you're the tournament is best of two, but then you do go into best of three. How has the best of two affected your practice? Are you practicing strictly best of two, or are you just doing best of three games and counting that as best of two?
I've been doing a mix because a lot of my friends are doing the LCQ and they're practicing for best of three.
Oh,
So
okay,
I'm
nice.
playing best of three with them. So I'm getting a lot of reps with that. But the thing is that it's hard to take like really dial down and take a deck that's going to be better into best of two. I think Ruby Amethyst is very good into best of two.
Yes.
I think Red Blue is also very good in best of two, just because you can pick up and just crush opposite decks. But decks like mine, or that decks like what I'm trying to take, Amber Steel, I guess you can call it Mufasa, is more of a tempo deck, and it is going to struggle going second. So that's something that I'm really thinking about, which is the reason why I'm debating between that and a different deck. And I'm just a little torn at the moment, just because best of two is so different. And I'm having commitment issues right now.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. Too many choices. Too many
I
choices.
agree with that. And I know I know how JDZ you in the LCCC when you were casting, right? We got to see these top players and use these decks like no I'm not on red purple, and then you have autobacks using green purple. You being able to have seen all these games, and just like everyone else, right, back at home, who saw all these games, and now we're finally 5 days away, 4 days away, whatever you want to call it, to this event. Not to even mention, like, Worlds will be a whole other topic, but with this weekend finally leading up to peak Lorcana competitiveness, we have the top 90 players. Just for something fun, who are the top 3 players that you guys think might take the tournament? I just want to hear
Ooh.
you guys' thoughts on that. Other than yourself,
You got
Alvin,
me on
because I
the
know you
spot.
want to. I know you have all the chances to win, but if
got
it wasn't
you
you, who do you expect to see out there?
Bro. Yeah, JD, go take it.
Oh man, you got me on the spot. You got me on the absolute spot. But if I got to be on the spot, I like to have a nice consistent hand.
Not
I'm
to
I'm a
win,
big
but at
fan.
least like for sure though. Okay, not for sure, but you might
Just
think they'll make day two.
all right. Let's to
Let's say
get
day
to
two.
get to get the world's
No,
qualification or to
no,
make day
just
two.
to make day two.
Okay, to make day two, I'm a big fan of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Like me, man. I really admire Alvin, all you guys who are really, really strong players in these trading card games because it takes a tremendous amount of work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it takes a lot of work, and a lot of people can admire like chess players or basketball players
Mm-hmm.
or track stars or anything like that because you can see their physicality, you can see the accolades, and it just makes sense to kind of wow, that
Mm-hmm.
guy's really doing something great. In trading card games, like oh, it doesn't matter because it's all luck. But still, man, there are some players in this game who have managed to nullify some of the luck, and they've been very consistent throughout this season. So
Yeah.
of course, I'm a lean on those guys, the guys who've been proving that they can do it. Like so, I'm picking Zan obviously because I think he's one of the best players we got in the game. He's making day
Yeah.
two. I'm picking. I don't want to jinx anybody. This might be the kiss of death, but I'm picking Zan. I'm picking my boy Dale. Okay, I think Dale
Oh, there
has a
you go.
champion mentality.
El
I think he's a
Belito.
strong player. I think he has a pedigree for this. I think he's built for this,
That's what's up.
and
That's
no
what's up.
moment's too big. I've known Dale for a really long time. I think he's a super strong player. I
Oh,
think he'll make.
yeah? Yeah.
So I got Zan, I got
That's cool.
Dale. I'm also taking I'm gonna take Wonderland. I think Wonderland's gonna be there. I think he's gonna be there to play. I think he's gonna be there to win. Okay, and he understands how to get to the Dubs. And I'll take who else we taking? I'm gonna pick Sailor. Okay. Those are my
Okay,
four.
I
I'll
like
pick
that
those
one.
four. Just off the top of the head, I'm picking those four
Yeah.
because I know how much work they're putting into it. I know how
Mhm.
analytical they are, and I know how they're going to be prepared. And I think their preparation is going to be just slightly above the rest of the field. And I think that's going to be what it takes to convert into that day two. Hopefully, I'm not jinxing all these players, but those are just players that I look up to for their amount of effort that they put into it. Now, and I'm not saying other players aren't doing that,
Mm-hmm.
but those are just the four that I'm picking off the top of my head. I got Zan, Dale, Wonderland, and I'm also going to take Sailor.
Those are good
Those are my
picks.
four.
Those
All
are
right.
really good
Yeah,
picks.
we have to choose here, guys. We have to choose
Okay, you got to
four.
choose. You
Well,
can't pick
I wish I
yourself.
could
Can't
choose
pick
everyone.
yourself.
I wish I
Yeah.
could choose everyone. But
Let me hear your
I'm going to
thoughts.
dial it down with
Yeah, let me hear your
my
thoughts.
one pick. My one pick is Kendall Burdett. No, I'm not.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think Kendall's
Like
a
it.
very good player. He's
Strong
very
player.
consistent. I played him in Seattle on like round 5, and very scary, very scary matchup. He just knew how to play Ruby Amethyst like a
core.
king, like a boss. So Ruby Amethyst is in a really good spot. So that's why I'm picking him as number 1. As number 2, Zach Bivens. I think he's an incredible player,
Oh, that's
and
a
he's
great
been
pick.
doing
Yeah.
very well every single tournament he goes to. He's up there, man. He's in the top guys. He's with the top guys. So he's my number 2. Number 3, Brennan DeCandio, just because I really like his creativity when it comes to decks. I think he's a great player too, and he's obviously topped some tournaments, some of those local tournaments like the Florida ones. I don't know what kind of water they're drinking down there, but they got some crazy players over there.
Yep.
And then my last one, I'm gonna go with Zan because I feel like he's gonna bring that green steel spice, bro, and no one's gonna expect it. No one's gonna expect it, and he's gonna do really, really well.
Man,
like
those are all
besides
good
having a
picks.
really good deck and having like he has the knowledge of that green steel down. He has it down, and I feel like that's a very high skill kind of deck. Like you can't just pick it up and work on tempo. Like you have to really think about your plays. And the better the player or the better the pilot with green steel, like that green steel has such a high ceiling for power.
Yeah. No.
Those are great picks.
Those are some
Those
great
great. Hey, can I
picks.
jump in here real quick?
Yeah,
I
go
want to say
ahead.
something about your picks,
Yeah.
man. No, I'm not is a great pick. Bivens is a great pick. You got some great picks, and I don't want those probably are gonna make it. But no, I'm not, man. I'm such a fan of that player's game as well because there was a tournament that happened down in Miami, and I think he was there, and he had like
Yeah.
no, it wasn't in Miami. It was I forget where the tournament was, but he had a complete
Yeah.
feature where every match he had like a feature match, and the cameras were on him every round. They would kick it off to
Oh
him.
yeah, like Charlie's
It was Charlie. It
collectible.
was
Was it
Charlie
that one?
Collectible. That's what it was.
Okay,
And
yeah.
it was like,
Yeah.
hey, the fans voted, and every round you're going to be featured. And he didn't fumble the bag. He still topped. He got a top performance under the spotlight. Hey, you're going to show. You could have easily just scrubbed out there because everyone's going to be looking at you
Yeah.
every single round. And he
Dude,
performed,
yeah.
man. That's so impressive to me that a lot of
That
people
is
would be like,
impressive,
oh,
man.
and choke under that kind of spotlight. So just having
Dude,
being able to play.
It's a lot of pressure, man. It's
Like
a lot of pressure.
knowing that you're going to be on the spotlight every single round and everyone's coming for you, and still having the fortitude to be able to play well and make it to the top performance. I think that's super impressive. But who are your picks, man? I'm sorry, Rip. I had to jump in there and say
No, you're
that.
good. You guys made
Go ahead, Rip,
you
get
guys
it.
made some very awesome points and picked some awesome group of players. So I'm gonna switch it up with my answers. You guys might not like this, but I'm gonna switch it up.
Yeah.
So for my 4,
Who's
number
good
1,
players? Yeah.
I'm gonna go with probably Din. So Din, the Red Blue King himself, he's from
BKB.
EU. Yeah, he has from EU, and he got his invite here in NA. This guy's topped, I think,
That's
like
right,
every
yeah.
DLC he's been to. And I think JDZ, you mentioned consistency. I think that's consistent as it gets.
Yeah.
And then Red Blue being scary how it is, I think he has a very awesome chance. For my number 2, again, answer's gonna be a little bit different. I think at least one of the Labyrinth boys, shout out to Team Labyrinth, is gonna make day 2. I don't know which one. They're all very skilled, but I know for sure at least one of them's gonna make it. Because those guys are just very consistent when they go to their testing and they pull up and always make a show. And then number 3, I'm going to go with, not sure who, but I know a Sapphire Steel deck will make day 2. So that could be Sky, that could be Lambs, that can be anyone. Shout out to the homie Bad Vegas. I know a Sapphire Steel deck will make day 2.
Man,
One of
it's
them
hard.
will
It's really
make
hard
it.
to pick. It's so many strong players. You got Lamb. Lamb can go. R&B might load it.
R&B, there you go.
You know, you man, you
Yeah.
can get in there.
I'm there, man.
But
I'm there.
who's
so
gonna
in the
who's gonna be
top,
brave enough to take it?
yeah. So in Nats, who's in there? Is it Jonathan Lamb?
Oh, for Sapphire
And
Steel players?
R&B's in there too.
R&B,
Sapphire Steel players.
R&B, Lambs, Bad Vegas, Sky, Canadio topped with Sapphire Steel. Not sure if he's going to use that, but that's what he topped with. I know some other homies, just can't remember them off the top of my head, that also put in work this year. But for sure, Sapphire Steel player will make day 2. And then for my 4th choice, I'm going to try to end it off here on a good one. And I'm probably going to have to go with... Yeah, my mind's at a blank here. But yeah, I think Zan's just a good pick, right? We just have to give credit to someone who has put in the work. We see him and talk about his deck, talk about the meta. And I do respect someone who studies the meta a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't take green steel. I think that's something that'll be very strong for him to do, especially people assuming they're mulliganing into green steel. And if he decides to switch it up, I think that can be very punishing.
Mhm.
And I don't doubt that he will.
Yeah.
So I think we all picked some very
100%.
awesome players. It's gonna be peak
Yeah, I
Lorcana,
feel like
man.
he's definitely locking it in. He's definitely locking in that green
and
steel. It's so good.
to your point, Rip, man, you say just listen to some of these players speak. I had a fortunate opportunity to speak to most of these players,
Mm-hmm.
and during some of these interviews, man, and just talking to them, you can just tell they're
Mhm.
on a different level. They
Yeah.
are on a different. They're a cut above, man. They're just the way they understand the game, the way they process the information, the way they understand the position, and the
Mhm.
way they understand the decks, the way they understand the meta. It's it's leaps and bounds against your normal players. So any of
Mhm.
these guys we named could have been uh, obviously could make it, and there are
Mm-hmm.
also a ton of players that we didn't name that also could potentially make it. There's a lot of great players playing this game, but those are just some of the best ones in my opinion.
Yeah, and you guys were watching all of these really good players
Hmm.
play like live.
Mm-hmm.
So what were you? Could you see the difference, like a difference in these players, like how they play, how they take their plays, the time that they take to make their plays, right? Like these players
Yeah.
took their time to think about it before making any little plays. Like, could you just like sense the aura, like the energy?
Well,
You know what I mean?
at least for me, like 'cause just being there, being able to watch it, and being able to see
Mhm.
the hands, which was very helpful to especially the newer players. 'Cause I consider myself a very average player. I'm maybe very average. I'm still growing. Got a lot of room to improve my game.
Yeah.
But to just see the plays that they will make in terms of mulliganing, because as you guys know, the mulligan and the inking are two of the critical components that you have to have in order to be able to play this game at
Mm-hmm.
any level.
Yeah.
Just seeing what they would do and just thinking to myself what I would do, and just seeing those things be different and where we would differentiate, and knows where the
Mhm.
misplays would come in, because if they're doing it, it's probably correct. If you are doing something different, then you need to that's where you need to make your changes. So that's one thing that you could definitely take away from watching people who are on that level that you're aspiring to be at,
Yeah, I
you know.
agree. I think the main thing that sets apart these players is a lot of people think that they're thinking about their move for the turn, when in reality, a lot of these high skilled players, Alvin, you probably, to your extent, play this in
Hmm.
your play style as well, right? But a lot of them aren't necessarily just thinking about the moment for that turn, but they're thinking about how the moment in that turn affects the next three turns, right? I think a lot of these players play basically like you said, JDZ, like chess, right? They're playing 5D.
Hmm.
They have to, you have to play. If you're
Mhm.
playing against a very skilled player, this skilled player knows what you're doing, so you need to bait them into thinking you're doing what they're doing, and it just goes back and forth, right? Like, and I think that's
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
it was amazing to watch. Like these guys, and then it was open deck list too, right? So these guys are really
Oh, that adds another
playing.
Mhm.
layer. Yeah.
They're playing like ahead of what their opponent can see, and I think that's what makes a skilled player different from your average player, because we know when you play people through online webcam simulators, however you want to play it, once you're there in person, I know a lot of people play differently when they're in person, right? It can be you get
Hmm.
nervous,
Mhm.
especially if you're in a feature match, a player who's used to being on the cameras and you're not, that could take advantage of you. We've seen people make mistakes in future matches just because they were
Mhm.
nervous. So I really do think like watching these games, you could see it's not really just about it's just so many different layers to it that a lot of people don't realize
Oh
it.
yeah, for sure.
And
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like they're
it's
athletes, right?
yeah,
Like they're
exactly.
Yeah.
literally
Hmm.
athletes. Like they're stepping up to the plate.
Hmm.
They feel the pressure, but they've been training for this. Like they've been training
Right.
under the
Yeah.
pressure, so they perform well. And they also have, I'm gonna get myself this, but they have like sports psychologists that help them through like this pressure. You know what I mean? Like someone they
Okay,
can talk to.
interesting.
They with that mental game. It's not just the physical, right? It's not just the reps. Like it's a
Mm.
whole mental game too, a mental game going into
Yeah,
these kind of
it's
events,
funny
right?
that you mentioned that because this past weekend I had an awesome tournament. Shout out my locals, Stronghold Games. They're actually sponsoring me
Yeah.
to go to the LCQ. Me and some friends. They had a fundraiser. They
Hey,
had a
Nice.
nice.
fundraiser tournament. We were able to
That's
fundraise
cool.
seven
That's
hundred
really cool.
dollars, and
Yeah.
it was split up in between four players. So shout out to them. But one of the
Nice.
people who I'm going with to the LCQ,
Hmm.
it was a long tournament. It was 5 rounds into a top eight cut, and
Hmm.
we were going to top eight, and this person was like, "Man, I'm getting tired." And I look at them, and I'm like, "Tired?" I'm like, "I don't like. You cannot like if you're tired right now. Like, how do you even expect to go through an LCQ with even more pressure?" And I think that's one
Hmm.
thing how you mentioned, right? Like, you cannot be tired. You cannot be hungry.
Mm.
Like when I go to these events, like, and people say, "Oh, I'm hungry." Like, I don't get hungry at events, or at least like I eat in the morning. But like when I'm there in these events, like I'm locked in. Like I'm not tired. I'm not focused. Like, and I think a lot of other players just want it more than like might want it more than what this person wants it, right? Like
Yeah.
it's and that comes with
Mm,
sacrifice, with hard work, dedication. So Alvin, like
yeah.
again, you got your invite. You're headed this weekend. I just want to hear your like because some people have already posted online, locked in. They're already flying into they're already flying over there.
Oh wow.
They're locked in. They said deck
Hmm.
list submitted. How are you approaching this as far as like are you gonna into the last moment or are you a person where you're gonna lock in and try to just enjoy up until Friday or like where are you at right now? I just as so people at home can see where someone who has their invite process right now.
Yeah, so I'm gonna lock it in on Thursday. I'm gonna lock it in on Thursday. I just need these few more days. Like I don't play until Saturday. Another
Oh
thing
yeah,
that I
Saturday.
want to
That's
do,
true. Saturday. Yes, yes.
yeah, I don't play till Saturday. So another thing that I can also be like, oh, the meta is looking this way. I can see how the meta is playing. So I think that gives me a little advantage. I can see what everyone's playing or what most people are playing on Friday. So if I end up changing my mind, I can do that. But I want to lock it in on Thursday and just kind of relax. I can play test with that deck and get a few more reps in
Mm-hmm.
just to get a little bit more comfortable. But there's also a big process of like my nutrition and my rest. That's going to be huge. Like I
Oh,
said,
interesting.
we're like mental athletes out here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I want to take care of my workouts. I want to take care of my nutrition. I have my whole meals planned out and locked
Oh,
in. I have my
that's
Smart.
rest, like the amount of sleep that I need
I like that.
to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
moving into these competitions. I have my snacks for in between the competitions, and I have all this planned out. So that way I'm not stressed out. Like, oh, I'm feeling a little hungry. My brain's slowing
Mm-hmm.
down a little bit. I'm getting a little foggy. I want to avoid that from happening, and that's what I
Yeah.
did in Seattle, which kept me fresh the whole time. Like round nine, I was locked in. I was fresh. I wasn't making misplays. So that's another thing that maybe you guys can, like, all
Oh,
viewers out there can take from this.
And yeah.
that is a phenomenal point, man, because in Vegas, okay, I'm not on that level. Like I said, I'm aspiring. And to your point and to Rip's point, fatigue is such a huge thing. Sleep is such a huge thing that people just overlook.
Mm-hmm.
Dehydration is such a huge thing that people just overlook because you're not going at it.
Mhm.
Most of the people are going at, hey, I'm just going to a tournament to play a game. No, you're going to a competition and you have a goal in mind and you need to be focused on that goal. So you need to be in bed at 9. You need to manage your anxiety.
Mhm.
You need to manage your fatigue. You need to drink water. You need to eat right. And then you go in there and perform
Yeah.
because it's a performance. I didn't take
Yeah.
it that serious in Vegas. It's my first event. I go there and we're in Vegas. Everybody's hanging out late and partying the night before. And then you go into the tournament. You're already at a detriment to yourself. So round 5 comes around and you're already extremely fatigued. You're dehydrated. You're not eating. The food at the venue is $35. And you're like, dang, I don't want to eat. So now you're hungry and you're just losing energy. And I think that
Mhm.
goes into it as well. So your preparation, I think, is very important, man. That's cool. I didn't even think about it like that. But now you know.
Mm-hmm.
Focus. Hydrate.
And how do you
Yeah.
guys personally react to round one, round two loss or a draw for these 9 round, 8 round tournaments? How do you guys react to that? Because me personally, when I first went to my first DLC, when I lost my first round, I was very upset. And then the second DLC came around, still upset, but a little less, angry, mad. And then now the third time when I went to Seattle, it was just like, you know what? I'm here to play. I cannot ruin my time here with the money that I spent to travel, and
Hmm.
get upset. Um, Not
Mhm.
necessarily upset over a misplay, right? Because that's okay, right? Like, oh, I should made the wrong play, but just being like mad. Like I know some people who, some friends of mine at first who like were just mad and like it ruined their vibe for the whole day. And I was like,
Yeah.
now as a player, I've grown to
Mhm.
like, yo, uh, you can bounce back. There's always a
Let it go.
comeback. How do
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
react to
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
I know JD, you said, how you're not up there yet, but like
Yeah.
I met you in person. And I know when you told me you got a draw, you lost, you weren't like upset or nothing. Like, how do you
I
guys
wasn't
react to
upset.
that?
I wasn't upset necessarily, but in both of the DLCs I attended, I went to Vegas and I also went to Seattle. Those are the only two I went to. And in both of those events, I started off 2-0 wins, two
Okay,
wins,
Mhm.
zero
there you
loss.
go.
And I was like so, overwhelmed with like, oh yeah, I can do this, I can do this. I was so motivated. And then
Mhm.
both of those in that third round, I took a 2-0 loss. I lost. So I went to 2-1, and
Mm.
I just got so deflated, and it's just
Hmm.
so like, man, I lost. I can't believe I lost. And because of those losses, I remember I recorded like some serious misplays in both of those times. And it was just so
Hmm.
discouraging, and it kind of threw my focus off, I believe. And then I went into some draws, more wins, another loss, and it just kind of went downhill from there,
Mhm.
because I just didn't think I was mentally tough enough or mentally strong enough in order to shake it off completely and then just get back into it the
Yeah.
next one, short term memory wise, because the
Hmm.
mental wasn't there, and then the fatigue sets in, and all that kind of stuff that we talked
Yeah.
about. But what about you, Lord Games, man? How about you? Like I said, taking that first loss sets me back mentally, and it overwhelms me.
It is overwhelming, man. Like
Yep.
honestly, we're human. Like we have
Yeah.
emotions, we have feelings. We don't like when you have that spike. You're winning, winning, winning.
Hmm.
Then you have that loss. You're gonna feel a certain way. Like there's no,
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're a machine. Unless you're a machine, you're just like, I'm just gonna brush it off and go into the next one. You're gonna feel something. And I think taking a little breather, taking a little second to just like calm yourself down, think about it, talk to your friends. Your friends are big, big, big motivator. Community
Mm.
coming down into community is huge to picking you back up. An example in Seattle, I was 4-0. I was in the sky. I was in the clouds,
Yeah.
and then
Oh
I got
yeah.
2-0'd. I got 2-0'd by no, I'm not. And after that, I was like, we're still in the game. Like we're still in the game. We got this. I got 2-0'd again.
Damn,
No.
bro.
I'm like, what is going on? And then I tied. After that, I won the rest of my games. So I ended up
Nice.
getting, I think, like 5 wins, 2 losses, 5, 6, 7, and then two ties, which was exactly enough to get me at the 45 points. And I was like 62nd or something. I was like 62nd. But the mental part of it, the emotional part of it kicks in, and you just have to remember that you're there to have fun.
Mhm.
Like it's not the end of the world. Just keep pushing, and it's
Mm.
okay to feel those feelings. You know what I mean? Like it's okay that they're there. Just be aware that they are there, and just be okay. Yeah, just keep moving forward.
Yeah,
Nice. Nice.
yeah. I think one of the best things to think about is like you as a player, right? You could be winning, and then once you lose, you might sink down, and at that moment, I think the better version or the way to come to like get out of that hole is just to overcome. Like when you face like you're already at this tournament, you need to go to these x amount of wins, so you already have a challenge, and then when a harder one comes on top of that, when you lose, and now you have to work even harder, I think that's when you really just have to overcome it. Like if you're able to overcome even a harder challenge, like you're giving yourself even a harder task to do, I think that's where people get
Mm.
rewarded
Mm.
for it. Like for example, Lambs. I know Lambs got O2'd, and everyone thought he was out. And shout out to him again, and he still managed to make day two. And everyone thought like, hey, didn't you get like
Yep.
O2'd? And he's like, yeah. So
Yeah,
what? Like I'm still in it, and I think that's the main thing, right? Like as long as you're
I
still in
love that,
it,
man. Yeah,
yeah. As long as
that's
you're
so
still in
cool.
it,
Yeah,
you're in it.
Keep fighting.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
And
yeah, exactly, exactly.
I think
So, like, what's your
mhm.
what's your mentality going into
Yeah.
this best of three format? Like, how do you feel? Like, do you have a prep? Do you have a preparation going into this tournament? Because it's coming up. It's sooner than mine. So
So
I want to hear it.
so when the LCQs got announced, I believe that was in Seattle when they got like announced, if I'm not mistaken, or like a week prior to that.
Hmm.
And I remember talking to the homie, shout out Sky, Sapphire Steel player. I was talking to him and I was like, hey, I'm gonna try to go for the LCQ. And he was there in
Hmm.
Fort Worth when I had lost, and I was venting to him when I lost. So when I told him, hey, I'm gonna go to the LCQ, he had told me, he was like, hey, if you're gonna go to something like this, to where if you lose round one, you're out, are you gonna be able to enjoy your time, like your weekend? Because he's like me myself, like I wouldn't be
Ooh.
able to. Like if
Yeah.
I lost in the LCQ, like I wouldn't want to be
Hmm.
here. I would just want to. So that was interesting, right? So I came back home, I
Yeah.
thought about it, and I was like, okay, if I go to this LCQ, 'cause we work for our money, right? So we work hard, we spend our money,
Hmm.
spending this time to go over there, and I thought to myself like, hey, if I'm gonna go over here and there's a potential, like it's potentially where I could just lose round one, round two because I get super unlucky. Am I gonna be okay with that? And at the end of the day, after all these experiences of losing and calming down, I just said, you know what? Yes, because if this is the last event of the year, or not of the year, right? But this is the last event of the season.
Hmm.
I'm gonna go there, meet all the homies, everything. At this point, I'm okay if I lose. So once I got over that, it was just okay, now let me
Hmm.
lock in my deck. And ever since
Mm.
then, it's just been practicing every day. A lot of it is theory crafting. I mean, personally, I theory craft a lot. I would say
Hmm.
60% theory craft, 40% hard, like playing the game itself. just because like I'm just always thinking. I'm thinking of my list. I change up the list, which could be good, could be bad, because you might want to test the list before you even like change it up. But I'm just I watch people play. I watch streams. I watch YouTube videos. As I'm doing that, I'm deck building. As I'm doing that, I'm talking to other people. I've probably have like 5, 6 players behind the scenes that I've been sharing my list with, and a lot of it is just really like has been not just me, like it's people who have played with me. Anyone who I play with is always that helps me like in my testing. So really it's just been just
Mhm.
testing and understanding the meta. That's what I've just been doing, and reaching out to other good players, because one brain
Mm.
multiple brain is better than one. And I'm not going to be someone who is
Yeah.
like, oh, like I don't need help. Like, no, I'm not afraid to ask for help. And with 3
Mhm.
days left, all I can do is I need to dedicate one day just to packing, making sure everything's good. So really, like today's what, Tuesday. I fly out Thursday. So really, I only have 2 days to test. And these last 2 days, I don't want it to be like, I don't know. I want to just enjoy it. I want to be able to enjoy Wednesday, Thursday,
Mhm.
Friday. So I think I just need to lock in tomorrow, and that's it. I like if I lose, I lose. You know, if I go and I win, I win. Like I'm gonna go and have a good time regardless.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I didn't think
oh,
about that.
sorry.
Like taking that first loss, you're
You're done.
done.
You're
Like
done.
you lose and that's it,
And
right?
and I was
Yeah.
I was sat down on my computer when those LCQs came out because I wanted to go so bad. I
Uh
wanted to
huh.
take it so bad. I wanted to be a part of it so bad. And then when they waitlisted me and I didn't get a chance to go, inside, maybe it's the wimp in me or the coward in me, but inside I was a little bit relieved that I didn't get it
Oh, interesting.
because I was like that cutthroat element of it would just it would destroy me.
Mhm.
I'm more like a Sky
Mhm.
in that regard because I want to go there, I want to win, I want to have success.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
yeah, they have other things you can do. Yeah, the community's there. Yeah, they got these very lucrative side events that you can play in and get those very exclusive promos that have some good
Mhm.
value to them. So that would be really cool to go there and experience that and just being in the vibe. If you ever been to a DLC, you know what I'm talking about. The
Mhm.
energy is like electric in there. Everyone's showing mad love. It's a cool time. So I recommend everybody go to a DLC if you can. But man, oh man, I would be devastated. Like it would just destroy me, especially if I don't draw well or if I brick or if I have a bad
Mhm.
experience or you know what I'm saying if I get shark because you know the cutthroat's going to be out there.
Mhm.
It's going to be
Oh
cutthroat
yeah.
Friday. I expect a billion judge calls. I expect everything to be like nickel and dimes because people are just really trying to grind it out. And if something like that were to happen and that were to cause me to lose and it's round one, I would be like, oh, dude, why am I even playing this game? I'm out. I don't know, but you got it. I think you have the correct mindset. I think my mindset's still a bit weak on it, and it's gonna take a little bit of time to get that thing a little bit stronger. And
Yeah.
yeah, what do you think about the cutthroats and the
I,
sharks, man? How do you guys think that's gonna go?
yeah. Well, first, I don't think your mindset's weak. I
Yeah,
just think I don't think it's weak. I just think I don't know. Everyone's brain's different. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like everyone's
And
brain's
nothing's
different.
wrong with
Everyone
having that
feels things
mentality either. Yeah.
so different. Yeah. So your approach is going to be different, right? Like
yeah,
your approach is going to be different. So you figure out how to how to manage these kind of events with those feelings. Like if you're just like I don't want to deal with this. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want to put myself through it. It's fine. There's more events that you can do.
Mhm.
There's
100%.
DLCs that you can show up to. Grind it out, get better at the game, keep practicing, and then just show up to those DLCs coming up in 2025. Do we have
For sure.
DLCs in 2025?
We
They
do.
haven't been
We
announced
have
yet, but
the
I'm certain
Does
they
that
will
happen
be.
yet?
We have the Australian
I
one.
mean,
Not sure who's gonna uh,
yeah.
fly it out there. We got some in Australia. Maybe there's gonna be some in Mexico. I've heard potentially. Not sure.
Mm,
That would be dope. Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
dope.
But whatever comes next, then that's
Yeah.
gonna be your priority, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. We
So
got store champs.
I get it. Set champs are awesome. Yeah, I
Yeah.
love set
hmm
champs.
And I
Again,
think
it's all community building, right?
yeah.
Doing the thing you love.
And I think that's interesting too, right? Like, as us being competitive players, we're like, all right, you know, when this is over, Nats is over, it's over. But really, no, like the game's gonna continue going. You have store champs coming
100%.
up. You have a lot of people, you know, practicing for store champs. People have asked me like, hey, after your LCQ's done, can you share me your list because I want to get ready for store champs. So like, just it's just so awesome. Like you have two competitive worlds that still all tied together, and that's kind of the
hmm
next topic that I want to talk to you guys. It's already been a
Mm.
year of Lorcana. Uh, we've had these DLCs. We're already going into set 7. What are your guys' thoughts on the game right now, and how 2025 will plan out? And can this game just finally start climbing it to where it's gonna be here for like forever, or not? Like I don't know.
Mm.
I don't know. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Whoever
You want
wants
to
to
go for?
go.
You want to take it, Lord? You want to take it, Lord? I could take it if you want to take it.
Go ahead, JD. Go ahead.
Dude, I first I gotta say this first year I came in a bit late. I joined the game in set
Mm,
3, so I wasn't there from the beginning. I did have cards. I did
mm,
collect a little bit of set 1, but I didn't play until set 3 because I just thought it was like, oh, it's hokey, man. It's a Disney thing. It can't be real. This game is not a real competitive thing. It's Disney. How it's Mickey Mouse is in it. How real could this thing
Bro,
be?
that's
And then
that's what I was thinking. Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, how real could this be? It's got Mickey Mouse and Pluto. What is this? I don't want to play. I'll give it to my
Uh,
kids. But and then I started playing, and I started hearing people who I really respect, like I said, the Dales, and I see these players who, what's his name? Edit me out here, but the Magic gentleman who's a Hall of Fame Magic player,
Frank Carson.
yeah, right.
Carson.
Frank's playing. Yeah, Frank's playing. I'm like, hold up. I'm starting to think like, hey, this might be a little bit more real than I once thought it was. And then I started playing. I was like, dude, this game is very deep. It's super strategic. There's a lot of skill expression in this game. I'm all in. So I join it, and I think this first year has been, no pun intended, a very magical experience. I think it has so much room to grow. This is only the beginning, and I
Mm,
think this is the ground floor. I think the people who came in on this year 1, you're going to look back at this year 1 the same way you look back at Magic the Gathering year 1,
Hmm.
20 plus years ago, Pokemon year 1. We're on the very, very ground
Yep,
floor,
it
and
all
this is the
mhm.
started.
beginning of
Yeah.
where this thing can go. And I don't know if there's sky's the limit. Honestly, I think we can have another 20-year strong trading card, 20-year plus trading card game if they continue to manage it as properly as they are. Continue to clean up these DLCs, maybe have more DLCs, maybe fix this Eventbrite situation so more people can get in a little bit more
Hmm.
consistently, or maybe
Mhm.
just have more tournaments or something like that. But I'm really high on it. I'm buying low, and I'm going to hold until the end because I think it's great. What about you guys?
Definitely. I feel like this game is already off to a really strong, good start. We already have great players. We
Hmm.
have a big fan base. Like Disney's fan base is freaking huge, and they're crazy.
Hmm.
They're collectors. So stuff like this, you know what I mean? Like stuff like
Yeah,
this is gonna hold its value. So that's another really cool part of it. Like you can collect Disney, and this stuff just goes up. And the other really cool part is that they structured this game very, very well.
Hmm.
Like I have no complaints. Best of 2 maybe, but other than that, the way the game's structured, or the going second thing too, maybe. But
yeah,
the way it's structured, I think is phenomenal. Like I love the game to a T. And it's gonna keep growing. I think we're gonna have more people coming from different card games like Yu-Gi-Oh,
for
more
sure.
Magic the Gathering people. I feel like we have a lot of Magic the Gathering players hopping on the train here. But also the what are they called? Rewards?
The
No, the
prizes.
earnings, like the
Uh huh.
earnings, like the
Prizes.
potential pricing. The
Yeah,
pricings are insane.
Yes.
Pricings
here.
are
Yeah,
insane, and that's a big reason for other people to from different card games to migrate to this because
Hmm.
of the pricing. Like you want to play, you want to practice, win, and making money is like a huge bonus. Like it's a
Yeah.
really, really big
It
attraction
could
for
be a
players, I
career,
think.
literally. It could literally be a
Yeah,
career.
dude. Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, I think I come from playing Yu-Gi-Oh back then, and then I played Digimon, and now I'm playing Lorcana,
Mm,
and I've been playing Lorcana since set one, even before the cards came out, playing on online simulators. So I've been waiting for this
mhm,
game to come out, and after a whole year here, even if I don't do well at my LCQ, and JDZ, you yourself, how you said you just started, and unfortunately you didn't do too good in the DLCs. But
Hmm.
look where we're at now, right? Like you were able to be a part of history when it came to the Continental Challenge. You were able to cast that all because you started playing this game, right? You met through people. Me and
Exactly.
myself, I started doing content. When I go to these events, people recognize me, which I'm assuming for you, LoreGainz, same thing, right? So this game has done a lot for me, other than just being competitive, right? And playing it. So I
mhm,
think that speaks volumes. And if this game can last 20 years, I think it comes down to five things in a card game. Number one being the IP. Like, what's the IP? I don't see Disney going anywhere. I take my
mhm,
girlfriend to go see these movies. I see families there. Everyone's playing.
Hmm.
Everyone's into Disney. Kids, adults, girls, everyone. So that's awesome. The IP's there. Is product available? Every time I go to Walmart, Target, Best Buy, products everywhere. So that's awesome. Number three,
Mm.
is there an aftermarket to keep the game going to where how you kind of go back to your prizes, like not necessarily just prizes, but opening packs? Can people make money off this game, not even having to win competitive tournaments, just packing out good cards? There is an aftermarket card for this game. People, there's cards that are worth $20, $30, so that's awesome. Going back to my fourth point, is it expensive to get into this game? I don't think so. I don't think it's expensive. If you want to play competitive, spending $200 on your deck to me is not expensive at all. And then the
Mm.
last one is, does the company or the brand, do they listen to their community? And I think when they hit
Mm.
Not Diablo, sorry, Bucky. When they hit Bucky, that's to me that
Mm.
like made me very happy because in other card games they don't really react that fast, especially as a new game. And when the community was upset about Bucky, they were just like, okay, we got you guys, and that's it. Like, and what I also like about that is when people started complaining about Diablo, they didn't just hit Diablo, right? Like everyone complained about it for a little bit, and then that goes to show, right? Like
Yeah.
they know what to do when the community, and I believe they're watching, content creators. They give content creators the opportunity to showcase a card, which hopefully all three of us can get next set. That'd be awesome to showcase a
Yeah.
card. So Lorcana,
Hopefully,
Ravensburg, if
that'd
you're
be
watching
dope. Yeah.
this, give each
Yeah,
of us
yeah,
a
yeah.
card. But yeah, man, this year's been awesome. I got to meet you guys. Like, we're from different parts of the state, so that's really awesome too.
Likewise.
And yeah,
Likewise.
this year's been awesome. I really can't wait for this weekend, and I am looking forward to the next year. Hopefully, we can all go to more DLCs. We can all of us could probably cast something. I don't know. The opportunities are
Yeah,
endless, man.
for sure,
It's
for sure.
crazy.
I love it, man. Damn,
Absolutely, absolutely.
that's a really good
Community,
message right
man.
there, man. I
It's
love
all
that. It's community,
it's
man.
all about community. It's
Uh
all
huh.
about community. It gives you something to do. You're a
Mhm.
human being, man. You need something to do that's not work and not just being at the house. Somewhere to go, somewhere to be.
Yeah.
Go into your local game
Mhm.
store. If you're just playing this game, you're just finding out about Lorcana, find a local game store near you. Go there. You got built-in friends. You have something to do, and
Mhm.
it's a very fun, cheap, and accessible hobby. Like Rip was saying, I think it's a great game, and I'm here, and I'm glad I got a chance to meet you. And you, LoreGainz, I'll be rooting for you from the sidelines as well,
Mhm.
man. Hopefully, you can go there and have some
Thank
great success too in the tournament, man. I'm excited. I just want to watch, man. I wish I could be there, honestly,
You'll be there at heart,
in heart.
in spirit, man.
I wish I could watch too. I like to
No, you
watch
could.
after.
You
I
can watch.
love watching the
You
games,
can
man.
watch the
I
LCQs,
Yeah,
love
man.
watching the
You can
games.
watch me on the
yeah. You
Yeah,
LCQs.
I watch the LCQs, dude.
That's
Like
gonna be
that's
crazy.
that's my life, man. That's my life.
just
Just watching games. It's so much fun. It's so much fun, man. That's like one
tune tune
one of my
into the
favorite
sweat
things
the
to do.
sweat factory. It's gonna be a
Exactly,
sweat
man.
box, dude. 32 pods of
It is
sweat.
gonna
That's
be
what's
a
gonna
sweat
be.
box. Yeah, it's gonna be 32 pods of sweat. Yeah, it's gonna be very cutthroat, very intense, man. Like I can't wait to how it turns out. I can't wait to hype up my friends though. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're all gonna go a big old group. I think it's gonna be at least 20 of us going.
Oh,
Oh, nice, man.
And I can't wait to just cheer my friends on and see how they do and like see their success because they were there
you
when
were.
I was
Mhm.
going through the top, day two, when I was going through day two. They were all there. They all stayed. They all came through, and they were all at the tables on the other side of
The
the
roped off
streaming
area.
tables.
Hmm.
Yeah, they were on the other side, and every time I'd play and I was streamed, I got 2 matches streamed, and when I would win, 10 seconds later, you just hear him go and just like
That's what it's
Nice.
clap
about,
and
man.
because it's like a slight delay, yeah. So that part of the game is just fantastic, man. Like I love,
You know
like you
what's
said,
even
JD
crazy?
and Rip. It's the best part.
Like you saying that, shout out to the 20 Lore Pro Discord. But when we had homies in
Mm,
EU, right? So we're all across another country. The LCQs aren't even
mm,
being streamed, and the LCQs are going on. We're in these threads, and a lot of these guys were looking at the melee.gg standings, waiting for it to
mm,
see like if our boys took it. And that's just crazy, man.
yeah.
Like people are there, they can't even see, but they're there waiting to like, come on, did he take it? Did he take it? And I think that's awesome, man.
Mm,
Like I think this community is awesome. Everyone, when I go this weekend, it's gonna be super awesome just to meet you guys again. Hopefully, I can take some videos, take some pictures, do a little bit of vlogging, cause that's gonna be awesome.
yeah.
And I guess just to close it out, I just want to get your guys' thoughts on these two topics real quick before we close it out. When you guys were mentioning earlier in this podcast, when we mentioned our best players, right? People say, hey, if you're going to the LCQ, if you're going to, if you're trying to make day two, what do you play? And right, and everyone always says, play with what you're comfortable with, or just play the best
Mm,
deck, right? And when people say play the best deck, what's interesting about that is all you guys, when we mention these players, right? For example, no, I'm not. This guy has been playing red purple the whole time. Sailor had been playing red blue the whole time. You have, all these players who have just played one deck the whole time. So really, like, I don't think there is no best deck in Lorcana, right? Because these guys
Right.
are just winning all the time with their deck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What are you
Yeah.
guys' thoughts on just again? I guess LoreGainz, since you're going into this, you're taking the best deck, or you're taking what you are comfortable with?
I'm taking what I'm comfortable with,
Mm-hmm.
100%. I want to feel smooth with my play lines. I don't want to have to overthink, like, oh my gosh, I don't think I've ever been through this line. I
Mm-hmm.
want to be comfortable and be okay with making my decisions and not misplay. Like, I feel like that's huge. I also want to enjoy my deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to have fun with my deck and grind out those 7 rounds, being okay with, like, this is my deck. Like, I'm comfortable with it. I
Mm-hmm.
love playing it. So I'm gonna enjoy these 7 rounds. And win or lose, I played something I'm
You love.
comfortable with. And if I played the best deck that I'm not comfortable with and I get cooked, I'm gonna really not be happy. You
Hundred
know what I mean?
percent, 100%, hundred
JDZ,
percent,
are
hundred
are
percent.
you still on Sapphire Steel, or have you
I
like I'm trying to? Are you like, oh, let me play the best deck, or are you just sticking with
I
that?
I made myself a promise because I've been playing Sapphire Steel since I joined the game. That was the first deck that I learned how to play. Well, one of the decks I learned how to play on Ruby
Nice.
Amethyst, but that's the deck that I've been playing the
Yeah.
most. And
Mm-hmm.
I made myself a
Hmm.
promise that in set 6 I want to branch out and try new decks just to build my
That's good.
profile a little
Mm-hmm.
bit and understand the game a little bit
Hmm.
better. But to answer your question, I think you brought up a phenomenal point. In this meta right now, I don't believe that there's a hands over
Mm-hmm.
fist best deck above the field. There just isn't because everyone will be playing that deck. So
Exactly.
to say I'm going to play the best deck, maybe the best deck for that event, if you've done your metagame analysis and you've determined that, hey, if I play this color combination, I'll have a 60% chance over the entire field versus if I play my own pet deck, then maybe you probably
Hmm.
should. But
Mm-hmm.
I would say, and this is from my line of work, I would say we got a saying, it says ride the horse that got you there. Okay. Don't try to trade
Hmm.
up right before the event because you've probably got 1,000, 1,500 games on one deck. You switch it up to
Hmm.
a deck that you might have 20, 30 games on, and then you still don't have that win or you still lose early. You're going to blame that deck and say you're going to have so much regret.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you show up with a deck that you've got reps and reps and reps on, it might not be the strongest deck, but you're going to have that comfortability and understand your position, like LoreGainz said, from that spot, and you're going to be able to make plays that you feel way more comfortable with. And then if you don't get the results you wanted, at least you went out the way that you wanted. You
Mm-hmm.
went out with no regrets,
Hmm.
doing everything your way. I think in this event, I think it's way too important to go out and take any type of chances. I would say ride the horse that got you there. Play your best deck, not the best deck, and then just
Hmm.
go out on a flame of glory. I would say.
Yeah.
I love that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you guys both pretty much ended it off on some very good points. So for anyone who was just thinking last minute, like, there you go, there's your answer. So I definitely appreciate
Boom.
you guys coming out into the podcast today. We covered LCC. I can't even. So much Lorcana in my mind. We covered the LCQ. We covered Nats. We gave predictions. We talked about the meta. We talked about experiences. LoreGainz himself, Mr. 16 invite, talked to you about how he pressed for the tournament. So I think overall it was an awesome episode. I'm gonna have your guys' social media links or anything that you want in the description down below. So make sure you guys check that out and support
Cool.
them, follow them. Do you guys just want to give any shout outs, starting with you, LoreGainz?
Yeah, big shout out to the community. Keep being awesome, guys. Keep being you. Bring that energy, bring those positive vibes. And shout out to our follow content creators, Rip and JDZ. Guys, give them a follow. Give me a follow if you don't follow me already. Like, these guys are putting in work for the community. Like, this is for the community. We're not getting paid thousands out here.
Exactly.
Like, this isn't a
Hmm.
salary. We're not getting paychecks off of
Just
this.
for fun.
So we're doing this for you guys because we enjoy communicating with you
Hmm.
guys and really expressing our thoughts and just putting stuff together for you guys to enjoy. So yeah, shout out to all the content creators out there.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. And he'll shout out to you, Rip, man. Thanks for coming. Thanks for letting me come by, man. Bring me back anytime. I love
Yes.
come by to select through few and being here with you guys. Huge shout out to you, LoreGainz. Nice to meet you. I do watch some of your videos, man. And
Likewise, man.
it's a pleasure to finally get a chance to meet you. And huge shout out to, of course, the Goat World. Shout out to the real ones. Salute to the OGs and everyone out there playing Lorcana and keeping this thing rocking and rolling. You guys can see me on JDZQuest on Twitch if you have the time. Come on by. I stream almost every day and I play some Lorcana. So come on through and hang out, YouTube as well, and we could do it just like that. But Rip, it was great, man. Thanks for bringing me by.
Yeah, I appreciate both you guys. Like I said, these two guys are awesome content creators. Check out Mr. LoreGainz YouTube, JDZQuest YouTube. I'll have all their social media links down below. Good luck to everyone this weekend. If you see me or Mr. LoreGainz, I'm pretty sure I can speak for him. Say what's up. Don't be shy. I love talking to the community. And I'll see all you guys on the next episode. Peace out and safe
Peace.
travels.
See
All
ya.
right, there you go, boys.